Hey guys, Rich here with Brotherhood Reviews, and we're back talking about a series, and this is a Netflix series, and as the Netflix advocate, I am here to bring you the Netflix sauce. Now, before we get into the series at hand, I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this from me, the Netflix advocate. Now, let's get into it. This show is called The Bastard Son and the Devil Himself, starring Jay LaCargo. Also has Nydia Parks, Paul Reddy, and Isabel Jones, who is the main cast. Paul Cargo also plays Robin in the Titan series, which is amazing. Videos coming out soon on that as well. Now, in this, it heavily involves magic, and before we get into that, I just want to say, if you don't like magic, this might not be for you, but if you do like magic, you should definitely check this out. Now, let's get into a concept of what type of magic, what type of magic users they are. So, we have fair-born witches and we have blood witches. Now, it's funny because they both have to consume blood to gain their witch's ability. The only difference I believe, is that blood witches die if they don't get their blood when they come of age. They never said anything about that happening to fairborn witches, but we do see a ceremony where the fairborn witches do consume a drop of their parents' blood in order to gain their powers. So the concept of getting their powers is the same, but I just feel like in order for there to be a difference, that the fairborn witches will not die if they do not consume blood. That would be the only thing that makes sense to me, but they didn't really dive deep into like the differences besides the fact that they call them blood suckers and that they have to eat blood. And there is another intricate part of being a blood witch where you inherit all of your parents' abilities. So like blood witches have these certain traits, these certain abilities that are passed down to one person, and it's called heart eaters. And when they eat the heart, they consume the powers of whatever was in that heart. So when they do that, so if their ability, if they eat the heart of somebody's ability and their ability is to like do earth magic, they now have the ability to do earth magic, and so on and so forth. So that was like a very skilled ability that only blood witches could have, and that's how they pretty much give out all the abilities to each and every person. Now, this story is a very touching one because you dive into it where these two witches get called to a place where another fairborn witch was murdered, seemed to have committed suicide, and there's this prophecy going on, and there's more of speculation on her son that she had by a man who has committed a lot of crimes amongst the fairborn witches. But we don't really get too much detail until the end of why he did all those crimes and what actually happened. We just know that everybody doesn't like Nathan, and Nathan's the son of a bad person, therefore he's supposedly a bad person. And it turns out that there are some traits, but you see that everybody's pushing him to get angry, be mad, and they're making him, give them a reason to lock him up, kill him, or anything of that nature. And you see a lot of resolve from him, but he gets to a breaking point. You know, it comes to a point where he's just like, enough is enough, and he just starts lashing out because there's these new witches that come to town, and you know, everything was good until right before it's time for him to get his powers. Everything is peachy clean, and then he all of a sudden, these new witches come to town, starts, you know, picking fights with him, and then, you know, he has to restrain himself, but they're starting it, but now it's all his fault no matter what. And then they try and capture him, and he actually gets away barely. They train him a little bit, and then they try to like take him somewheres, and then he escapes again, and then it's just a long ride. But I'm not trying to give you the full breakdown of what happens, but towards the end, he meets up with his father because it's his birthday. He has to get his blood in order to complete his transition into a witch. And then at this point, him and Nadia, who plays Anita, or Annalise, that's her character's name, Annalise. And Annalise, they're together at this point in Europe, where Fairborns, and they're not like segregated, but they're always fighting each other. But they're in Europe at this point, and he's trying to get his father's blood. There's this blood bank pretty much of all the witches, where he has a friend of his go there and gets it while he tries to save Annalise, and ends up meeting his father. And Annalise's father does this weird ritual to gain blood magic so he can become a heart eater, and then he starts taking a whole bunch of different witches' powers so he can try and defeat Nathan's father. Now, it comes down to a point where Nathan's father is like, listen, they have to give them 3 gifts. He gives them 3 gifts, well, 2 gifts, and tells them the third gift is the ability to avenge his mother's killer, his mother's death by killing her killer, who is Saul, Annalise's father. He does a good job pretty much fighting him, doing what he can without, you know, any real serious powers. But then it turns out Annalise and Gabriel, that's his name right there, Gabriel, they help him defeat him because Annalise's powers, she can make things explode. So pretty much, yeah, she kills her father in the end, and it alludes to him eating his heart. Now, I think the season 2, if they do end up making a season 2, could contain him moving forward and, you know, starting a whole new society around equality amongst blood witches and fairborn witches. So that'll be a great aspect. Plus, his sister also was almost ripped apart by Annalise's power because she was doing too much. His sister's nuts, and if anything, I'm not getting like too crazy into detail of what's going on, but his sister has tormented him his whole life. She is a narcissist. I loved her the whole time because she is bloodthirsty, and there's somebody else with her at the end. There's like a little scene that she has where she wants to get revenge because her powers are acting up where she can't really stay in her looking like herself. Like, her powers are messed up. Her actual body is like ripped apart a little bit because of what Annalise did to her, and she definitely wants revenge. She is not the type of person to let it go, even though she knows she can't. She has nothing for Annalise's power, and the fact that her brother is a heart eater, and he ate Annalise's father's heart, so he has all of his powers that he stole, plus whatever power he had. So it's just, for the next season, if they have one, it'll be a very different aspect and atmosphere, and I definitely want to see that. But I would definitely check it out. Like I said, if you are into magic, this is definitely a show for you. But that's all I have for you guys, and I hope you check it out, and I hope you guys have a good day, time, night, whenever you guys are listening to this. Thank you.